Okay, what's happening? Today we're doing lab exercise 10, Introduction to HTML. So basically what we're going to do is put in some basic web page code, show you how to do that in an online HTML editor, and then we're going to do it in a plain text application, Notepad for Windows, and show you how to create HTML files there. Okay, so basic idea of HTML is that there are embedded instructions called tags that includes portions of a text document. So you have some set of text and the tags around it specify how that text is going to be displayed. Okay, so first simple example we're going to find with an online HTML code editor. So one way to do it is just do a search for online HTML editor. W3 Schools is a pretty good one. If you click on that, you get here. In here, this is their try it yourself editor. You can click the try it yourself button and you can bring in some text. So here we see there's a page title, it says page title. That's the head, which shows things above the entire document. The body is the body of the document, shows all the main text that appears on it. You could also have a footer element to your page that has things at the bottom of the page, and these HTML tags top and bottom close everything out. Okay, so if I change something within here, this H1, this is a header tag, produces text in this large format. If I get rid of the H1 right there and there, it just appears as normal text. Okay, likewise, this P tag sets off the tag enclosed within it as a paragraph, so it's set off from this other text. If I didn't have that, if I got rid of those P tags and then did run here to show the page, it would all just run together. It would be part of the same stuff. All right, so let's do some of this. We're going to get rid of all this and clear it and follow along with the exercise. So let's see. In the code panel, it's here on the left, type the sentence, the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. Okay, so we do the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. Okay, now some online text HTML editors, it'll automatically show the results in the other panel. This one you have to click run each time. So I click, there we go, we get the text over there. Now we're going to do a few things. Using a B tag, that's going to be for bold, we're going to make quick appear as bold. All right, so we put this B tag in front of quick, and we put /B inside the pointy brackets afterward, and then click run. Oh, that's supposed to be after quick, not after brown. Okay, try that again. All right, and run, and boom, you can see quick over there is in bold. How about that? Okay, we can also use an I tag around dog. Okay, I is for italics. And close it out. How about that? And click run. Boom, and now dog is italicized. Likewise, we can do U for underlined, make fox appear as underlined. Okay, so U there, and /U, and run. And there you go, fox is underlined. So, like I said, we have a bunch of basic text, and the tags specify the format, how it's going to be shown. Of course, if you've been to a web page, you can see there are all sorts of other ways that text can be displayed, so we're really just scratching the tip of the iceberg here. Okay, another thing you can do is nesting tags. Okay, if you want to have multiple bits of text, right? So here, once again, we have the sentence, the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. I'll write that down here again. Okay, we're going to have brown appear as bold and italic. Okay, so brown, do a B tag and an I tag, and then we'll remove them the same way they were nested in, so inner then outer. Okay, and we run it, and boom, now brown, right, is highlighted. I'm going to put a BR tag in the middle. That's for line break, and that will have the text appear on different lines. So if we run that, there we go. We get a little space in there. Okay, likewise, let's see. So brown is bold and italic, jumped as bold and underlined. Okay, so for jumped, bold and underlined, right? So B and then U, and then close them out. Again, inner to outer. So close out the underline first, close out the bold. Ta-da! Okay, and one more, lazy, italic, and underlined. Okay, so, and close them out on the other side. Okay, And we run that. Great. So everything's the way it should be. Okay, next stuff we can do, let's do some fonts. Okay, so let's do it on, you know what? Let's do it, our action here, code window, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. All right, so we'll do another page break, or line break rather. Okay, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Okay, so we're gonna make that the word work appear as blue, size 14, and Courier font, and play as green and in Cambria. So we have this basic line here. Okay, font face, size, color. Okay, this is some old stuff, so I'm just going to lift this tag the way it is. Okay, and I'm going to put part of it in front of work, and then edit it. Whoop, I didn't like that, huh? All right, I was trying to do that. I don't know why it didn't copy. Face equals, what's that first one? Courier. And size equals 14. And color is blue. Okay. And we'll close out the font. Let's see what we get. There we go. All right, so work appears big. That's the way we want it. Okay, if I did, what's the other one? Play. All right, so once again, I'm just going to lift this so I don't have to reinvent the wheel. Okay, I'll do this in front of play. Okay, the face in this one is going to be Cambria. Size, there's no specified size, so I don't have to worry about that. And the color will be green. And once again, I'll close out the font afterward. Okay, and run it. Ta-da. Now, if you look closely, you can see the play is green, and it's the same size as the other text. Okay, so cool. Now, again, these you can see here in the notes, it mentions that although the font will work, it's there in older versions of HTML. It only works in the older ones like 4 and 4.01, which went out of usage a few years ago. Current HTML5 no longer supports those, and we'll cover what are called cascading style sheets in the next exercise, and that's the way you would do changes in fonts these days. Okay. Other things, headers, we mentioned headers. HTML provides a bunch of standardized header options. So H1 is the biggest, down to H6, which is the smallest. And last, a lot of examples here using quote marks, right? So there's a lot of quote marks in here. HTML code requires that you use straight up and down ones. So if you're copying your text into MS Word, one of the things you can often see is that the quotes often get curled, right? That's kind of the default setting of MS Word these days. So if you have quotes, they do the curled or smart quotes that automatically converts them from the standard up and down ones. So be careful. Best not to use MS Word at all in this regard, coding generally because of that, but Notepad is pretty safe. Notepad by default leaves the text the way you put it. Okay. Now we'll talk about some basic HTML elements here. So let's save this, and we're going to do some of this in, I guess we'll do it eventually here in this. That's fine. We'll leave it here for now. Okay, so the basic page tags, P for paragraphs, B for line breaks, and what's called a D for a division, or it's a container for other page content. So paragraph just sets apart text from others, puts a line before, line after it. Line breaks just put stuff on the next line like we've seen here. And the div tag just creates sort of a container to put in any content. And it's just more than anything, it's a convenient way to group content. So if you want to take some chunk of a web page and put it in another page, you can just copy the div that contains the things you want. Okay. All right. So one of the most common things you'll do in a web page is make links. So to make a clickable link, you can use the A tag with an href attribute specifies where something goes. All right, so I'm going to make one here. BR. I'm going to do a href equals HTTPS. And then click to visit Google. Okay, so if I run this, now I have a link, and if I click on it, if I hold the control key and click on it, ta-da, it actually opens up a link straight to Google. So there you go. That's handy. Okay, likewise, in the code window, I could do another one, create a link to UIC homepage, right? So instead of having it to Google, I just have it go to www.uic.edu, and the text will read, instead of that, it'll read, check out UIC. Ta-da. If I run that, text changes, click on the link. Now it takes me to the UIC page. Great. Okay. So what we're going to do next, okay, do some stuff with images. So one of the things with HTML is that the code you're working on, it's like a file folder system. So there's some folder that your current page is, and I'm going to create one here. Okay, let's make a new folder. Where's my new folder? Fine, do it that way. Okay, so I'm going to do this, a fake folder for LX10. Okay, now in this, I'm going to save, I'm going to make a notepad file and save it there. Okay, so save as, and we're going to put it here in the LX10 folder. And I'm going to call it lx10.html and save it as all files. So the important thing, number one, in the file name, you include HTML, right? Whatever your file name is going to be, and then .html, and then you save it as type, not text, but as all files, right? And that will permit whatever you create to be saved as an ordinary openable file. So we're going to put some stuff in here, okay? So make an H1 tag, and then happy face, and then close out H1. Okay, now we'll have an image tag. So img source equals happy face.jpg. Okay, and then a line break, and then this image copyrighted 2017. Okay, oh, we're going to save it as code.html. That's fine. We'll do that. We'll play that game. So code.html and save as all files. And we're going to save it. Okay, I'm going to close this out for a minute. We'll come back to it. So here in my, let's refresh. Okay, so we have our code. So now when I fire this up, it appears the text is there, right? This is a header, this is ordinary text, but this is a blank image, didn't have the image. So I'm going to create an image. And create a little image here. I think you can just get it from Blackboard, that's fine. But I'm going to create this image. I'm going to fill it with yellow. Wait, I didn't want to do that. What am I doing here? I want to do this. We're going to make a happy face. Okay, fill that with yellow. I'm going to make a couple smaller ones. Okay, I'm going to fill them. And we are going to, let's do, I don't know, we'll make it work. Okay. All right, let's fill that. Now we got a happy face. That's a little disturbing, but that's okay. So we are going to save this. Let's shrink this down. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to cut a chunk of it. This will do. Okay, and then shrink that down to nothing. There we go. We're going to blow it up, and we'll save it as JPEG. Okay, let's go to code. Right there. LX10. Okay, if I save it in the same folder where the stuff is, it'll be happyface.jpg. Okay, I'll save him as, that's fine. Okay, this is good. Now let's open up the page. I close that out, go back into my files. Let's open up code. There we go. And now the image appears. All right, so the image img, that's an image tag, says, hey, looking for an image here. src, that's the source, that's the location of it. So since it's in the same folder, I just include the name of the file. because that's what it looks. If it were in a folder within a folder, if it were in a subfolder, like say there was an images folder within the LX10 folder, and happy face was there, then the SRC attribute would need to be images happy/happyface.jpg. Okay, we'll do another little thing. Let's go back to that same page. Okay, we'll do this. I can open it with Notepad to alter it. Okay, so let's see. So I'm going to make a button. All right, make a button below. So button type equals button. And on click equals alert. Alter, not alert. And oh no, remember single quotes there, right? Because what it's going to do, this on click at, okay, so I don't really need this button, but it's kind of the default setting anyway. On click though, on click specifies what's going to happen when I click on this thing. So this alt, oh no, this is actually a little JavaScript statement. So it's going to call this function called alert and send along the text, oh no, to it. So it's going to do this pop-up window that says, oh no. Okay, and note that everything that goes along with the on-click attribute needs to be enclosed within these double quotes. That's why I use single quotes here. JavaScript permits either single or double quotes. So when you're mixing the two, right, you want to make sure that JavaScript is only using the single quotes and HTML is using the doubles, because if you included a double quote here, then HTML would think, oh, this is what's the on click, right? And that is an incomplete function call. It doesn't do anything. So we're going to put in that, okay, and close that out. And our text will be don't click, and then we'll close out the button. Okay, so let's do this. We can save this one, save it, go back to my folder and run it. Okay, if I have this don't click button, if I click it, oh no, right? I get that pop-up alert. That's kind of fun. Okay, that's where some of those alerts come from. Okay, we're gonna edit this a little more. Okay, let's see. So button type equals button, on click equals colorize, this comma red. All right, we'll do one more. Okay, so button type equals button, on click equals colorize this comma red. Close that out, and I'll say click me to change my color, and close out the button. Okay, here we'll have a second button, and then we'll have a script. So a script is a tag for some active code, basically code that responds when the user completes a particular action. And we'll have a little bit more JavaScript when we do lab exercise 12. So now this is just kind of introducing the concept. Okay, so our script tag is going to have a function colorize element comma color. Okay, and here's the code within our function, element dot style dot color equals color. And without getting deep into the JavaScript syntax, what happens in this code is this. If somebody clicks on this particular button, it sends along, it calls the colorize function, and it sends along an identifier for this, the particular button that was clicked, and then the text red. Okay, so when those elements are received in this colorize function, the element that's referenced here, that's going to be the thing that was clicked, the button, and the color will be the text that was sent along. So this element style color attribute will be set to color. Basically, that means the button will turn red. All right, so let's save this and make sure it works. Okay, so in that code, now we have our extra buttons. Click me to change my color. Yeah, okay. Oh, wow, look, the text changed to red. How about that? Okay, that's kind of neat. Fun. All right, well, this is just some basic stuff. Obviously, again, if you've seen web pages, you know it gets a lot more complicated and interesting than this, but this is a good basic thing to start. We learned about some basic tags, how they worked. We talked briefly about CSS and JavaScript that we'll be seeing shortly. Okay, one thing I should mention, W3 Schools is a pretty good online editor for JavaScript. Different different online HTML editors may block some JavaScript code from working. So here at this point, we're all doing it on our own pages. Everything should be fine, right? Like if I copied and pasted this into the W3 Schools one, this would all still work, right? Because W3 Schools is good like that. Well, the image won't appear, but this stuff still works. That stuff still works. But there's other online HTML editors. They might block JavaScript. Okay, and different browsers can have different default button styles, right? So just to be prepared for that it's a good idea to specify the buttons type attribute, right? So the type button just gives an HTML standard button, which may or may not be the same as the browser's default style. So there's that. Okay, and that's it. So all you got to do for this, I would say, is just submit this last notepad file that contains your stuff. And if you made it that far, that's pretty good. All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.